So for the planning and analysis phase of this project, we got to sort of do evidence-based research to back up the idea behind why we want to be rolling out this project. And so that was actually really interesting as well, because I got to sort of dig into why it's beneficial to patients and why it's beneficial to providers as well to have a coping assessment versus just having a numerical pain score. So finding data to back that up was actually really interesting. And then above and beyond that, finding evidence-based papers to support pharmacological and non-pharmacological interventions was interesting as well, because as a labor nurse we do all kinds of interventions, and having sort of a huge repertoire of interventions available to you can be a very valuable thing as a labor and delivery nurse. And so getting to do some research to find out what the best non-pharmacological interventions are, and finding out sort of the rate of people who get epidurals and the rate of people who don't want epidurals but end up with them anyway was very interesting, and finding papers to back that up. And then doing that systemic review of all of those papers and putting them together and summarizing everything was very interesting, and very applicable to my practice, which is nice. And then we sort of worked on sort of what results do I want to get out of this, and how do I get those results, and so how do I make a successful project happen here. And so planning that out and making that schedule and putting everything together, sort of what this plan was about. And then the same thing, that stakeholder interview was so valuable to this, because we had to write down the strengths and the weaknesses and the opportunities and the threats, and all I saw was strengths and opportunities. And so I really was sort of given the opportunity to see the weaknesses and the threats to this program that I'm trying to roll out through talking to the stakeholders. And so getting their insight and seeing that what they said, the IT piece is going to be really big, and what if people don't want to use this? How are you going to convince people that this is better because they haven't done all the research that you've done? And how do you make your policy adhere to this as well? Was actually really interesting to talk with them about.